Hey, and welcome back to my kitchen stories. I'm so happy to have you back here with me. And today we're going to be cooking a low-carb lemon tart with cream cheese and a nice little topping there. So I have one of those babies ready over here. The base is going to be with almond flour and coconut flour. The mid layer, the cream part, is going to be with cream cheese and lots of lemon and some good stuff. And then we're going to cover it with a whisked, nice, fluffy egg white, which is going to be sweet. So protein-packed, low-carb, delicious little treat that you can use whenever you feel like you want that little slight bit of sweetness to your day. It's actually super easy to make this cake. So we're going to be using my KitchenAid. I love my KitchenAid very, very dearly. So we're going to add in 20 grams of almond flour. And you can get this basically from any store. I like to get it in bigger amounts and then I store it in an airtight little jar in my drawers. So I always have some at hand when I need. Then we're going to add in 20 grams of coconut flour. And we're adding rather small amounts because we're making this cake in this perfect little bite-sized cake tin. So it's a small cake tin about the size of my hand. I think 10, maybe 12, 15, something like that centimeters of width. Perfect for two. So if you just cut it in half, two people get a nice, decent sized cake piece. Yep. But if you also want to have maybe a bigger one, you can use something like that, or you can use the one that's maybe familiar for you from the chocolate cake video. Either or, just multiply the amounts then with 2, with 3, with 4, whatever size of the cake tin you have. I will add the dimensions of this one down in the description so you can get that from there later on. But why I love to use coconut flour is that it's one of the protein dense flours that there is, alongside almond flour of course, and we're not adding any regular flours here, so we are trying to cut the carbs as low as possible. So aside from the flours, we're going to add in some butter. We're going to put 10 grams of melted butter. You can put exactly 10 and then use a spatula to clean it, or then you can opt for, let's say, 15, because some of the butter will stick to the pot that you're melting it in. So just to make sure you actually get 10 grams inside the bowl, you're going to need it afterwards. So we're going to melt the butter. And the story with this cake actually is a really nice one, because I was at home, it was a Friday evening, I was really craving for something sweet, but my fridge was literally empty, so there was nothing inside. So I decided to give it a go and see what I can actually make from an empty fridge. So I had a bit of almond flour, I had a bit of coconut flour in the drawers, I had some butter left, didn't have any eggs at that time. So that was one of the challenges, to make a cake without any eggs. But prep that, put everything together, put that to the oven, and voila, it actually turned out pretty tasty. But then once the cake was ready, I added a small video of it to my Instagram stories, and just for the fun of it, added a slider there as to ask how many of the followers would actually like to get the recipe. And hands down, I have to say, I have never gotten that many responses. So then here we are today. It has been a few weeks since I have been fine-tuning this recipe at home, and now it's ready for you to give it a go and see if you like it. So we have the flours inside here. We're also going to add a little bit of cinnamon, just slight sweetness taste that it gives, and a little bit of vanilla sugar, but we're not going to add any sugar to the base. No need. The almonds actually are already rather sweet in their own taste, so this should be already sufficient amount of sweetness in the base. If you have a sweet tooth, of course, you can add some extra, but I would say my kids have also approved of this cake. My daughter loved it, so she could not stop eating. So obviously the sweetness is about quite balanced, I would say. So I recommend not to add any sweetness to the base. And then in it goes the 10 grams of melted butter. And we close it, and then we let it do its magic. it will turn into a nice cookie crumble type of base. While it's working there, let's grease the tin just slightly with some butter. But then taking off, that's pretty much what you're going to be getting. It's kind of a cookie crumble type of base. Once we have that all mixed, we're gonna take a spoon and scrape all of that into the little cake tin. Just about enough to cover the base. Just even that out. And then we slightly press it. There we go. And the base is ready. We're gonna put that on the side over here until we prep the cream. But before we start prepping the cream, we need to preheat the oven. So we're gonna put the oven on 180 degrees Celsius. So we start the cake cream from whisking the egg, and we're gonna give it a good whisk until it's slightly fluffy. And in we go with, first and foremost, half a teaspoon of vanilla sugar, then 100 grams of cream cheese goes in, and we also add about 2 tablespoons of agave syrup in. Aside from the cream cheese, aside from the eggs, we also want to add in some of the lemon zest. Yep, I have one of my great friends. I have no idea what's the name of this, but it has, I call them toes. It has 5 little toes on top, and I get to just cut the zest from the citruses. And now we're going for the juice. And how I love to juice the lemons if I'm making a cake, I put one hand below and then I squeeze the juice on top of my hand so I can catch all of the seeds. Very convenient. So you see all of the seeds are here, get to put them here. Juice from 1 lemon and zest from 1 lemon has been added in. We get to close the machine and let's whisk. And we want to give it a good whisk until it's nice and even cream. We don't want any bits, any pieces in it. So start from a lower speed and then work it up to high speed in the end and let it whisk properly. So we're all done. Let's open up, remove the whisk from here, if I can get it. Let's see. Oh, yay, we managed. Let's get all of that in. And now to the most important part. Let's taste. Let's see if the cream is about right in balance. It's kind of addictive. And let's pour the cream on the cake. In the oven it goes, 20 to 25 minutes. The cake now is quite nicely set if we take it out from the oven. We will now leave it at room temperature to cool down, and then once it has cooled down on room temperature, we will transfer that to the fridge to get it completely chilled, because if we want to add on top the egg whites, then we can't allow for the cake to be not even warm, but it has to be completely cooled down. The cake has started to cool off slightly, and we're ready now to make the egg white foam that goes on top of the cake. First and foremost, about the bowl that we are going to be whisking the egg white in. My KitchenAid has this very gorgeous wooden nice bowl that I really love to use, and I mean, it just looks so amazing. But unfortunately for egg whites, it's a no-go, because egg whites really need to have a very clean bowl. No grease, no nothing should be inside there. So for egg whites I have this other nice, what do you call it, metal bowl, yeah, something like that. Anyway, we're gonna switch the bowl. We're gonna attach the whisk back here. Yay, and we're good to go. And it's actually very simple. So the end result will look something like this that you see here, but we're gonna need 1 egg white. So we need to Get the egg white and remove the egg yolks. In it goes. Over here. Let's close that one. Start slower and just let it work up gradually. And then we want to see a very, very firm, nice white foam in the end. But it's gonna take some time. So you can just relax, let it do its magic. And once we have those gorgeous white peaks, we're gonna put it back on slow and add in some stevia sweetener. You can use also regular powdered sugar. You can use stevia sweetener, but just make sure not to use any agave syrup or even coconut palm sugar. Those won't work here. So you want to add something that is firm. And also a bit of vanilla sugar. Let's get that in. And then just whisk until it combines, and then we are ready to start piping. And I think we are good to go. Let's open that up, and you see that. That is what we need. Very nice, fluffy, amazing. Now we're getting the cake from the fridge, nicely cooled down, and you just slightly press the base, very gently press it, and you see this beautiful lemon tart on your almond flour and coconut flour base on the plate. Let's see that you have good vision. So over there. And then how to work with the piping bag. So there's some pro tips for you. So you take the piping bag, you fold it down, and you put it over your hand, so like that. And for the bottom, if you have the top, just press some of the bag inside here. So now you can fill it up from the top, and it won't start dripping from below. So let's get that, and be very, very gentle with your egg whites, because they are, let's say, touchy. Once you have that, just go around the cake with a piping bag. So you can also work with the cake now on the table, but I like to use a cake base that kind of turns around, so it's more fun, I would say, and easier. So what you would want to do, you would want to take the gas lighter and then just slightly, I don't know how you call it. It's like, it's not grilling, but it's also not cooking. But basically, we just give it a little bit of color on the sides. So it's very, very enjoyable. Just work it all the way through. And I would say we're done. Let's add a green on top. Always like to mix the colors. And it's done. The super simple low carb lemon tart with the almond and coconut flour base and a foamy egg white top. I am sending you lots of love from here from Estonia. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for cooking with me. I love that you're here, and I can't wait to see you again in the next video. If you like this video, leave me a comment, let me know how the cake turned out. And if you wish, then of course hit subscribe so you would be up to date with all the news and all the new videos that are coming. So see you soon, and ciao ciao.